Torn between the law of attraction and religion, feeling like a fool. Torn between the law of attraction and religion, and I don't know what to do. Hi. Can I just have a conversation with you today? So, I just had some thoughts. Let's just say that there's a poor person who is a part of a tribe in a third world country. Now, this person, of course, doesn't have many riches. This person has to struggle, maybe even just to get enough food to eat. Perhaps this person has even been taught a religion growing up that seems very contrite and hard to follow. A religion maybe that doesn't seem very loving or fulfilling. So then they are taught the gospel. They are taught about an eternal kingdom of wonderful health, riches, and love. They are taught that God will supply all of their needs, if not in this life, then at least in the other one. That God's Son died for them, that He heals today, that He loves them and wants them to love others. That they are forgiven for all past wrongs, and that their past sins are even forgotten by God by simply asking for forgiveness. Wow, what a great religion. Can it be true? So maybe they believe in the power of this religion without even thinking that their belief is in this religion or system of thinking. What they really think is that their belief is in this God. Now, this is where I believe the law of attraction comes into play. I used to be a very religious person. It used to work for me. And if the same God exists today, then the same things that worked for me then should work for me now, right? But they're not. Could it be because my belief in my religion was stronger then? Well, of course. And I will tell you that it was. Now, many of you Christians out there will say, "Oh yes, but I will have to tell you it is because of your low faith. That is why the whole Christianity thing isn't working for you." Okay. Well, where I admit that my faith in God is much, much lower, that has kind of been based on my circumstances. See, I used to get the quote-unquote breakthroughs or answers when I prayed, and for a very long time now, I haven't felt that I got answers, cures, solutions, or anything that helpful most of the time when I pray. I know that doesn't sound very nice, but it's true. Seriously, how long do I have to wait? God is merciful, is He not? My faith is certainly far from perfect, but sometimes all it takes is faith the size of a mustard seed, right? So I've come to the conclusion that the best help I can get is from myself by, yes, trusting my instinct. Is this sinful? By the standard of most contemporary Protestant Christians in this country, yes, it is. I'm sad to say, but it seems to work for me. Now, how long do I have to wait to know the right answer and to act after I'm sure God tells me to do so while I'm suffering? That kind of sounds like stupidity to me. Now, I'm not trying to throw God completely out, like the saying goes of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and believe me, I haven't done so, in my mind anyway, yet. Now, perhaps some of you, who consider yourselves to be more liberal in your Christianity, you will say, well, maybe sometimes those quick answers you get are really from the Holy Spirit, who masks as your quote-unquote instinct. And yes, being someone who was raised to have a lot of respect for God, that more quote-unquote common sense approach of Christianity has crossed my mind. And perhaps I was taught about Christianity in some ways that were slightly off, and I make this walk with God harder than it has to be due to some teachings that were off a bit, perhaps. But then I ask you also, what teaching is right? Isn't Christianity supposed to be based on the Bible? If so, there are many things I don't agree with from the Bible. Many. Now, I would not consider myself to be a fair debater if the Bible weren't something I've studied for a very long time, by choice. In addition to being very churched during my entire childhood, teenage years, and adult life, of course, which was by choice, I was also a part of many Bible conferences, Bible study groups, Christian events outside of regular church attendance, took accredited college-level courses in both the Old and the New Testament, and did a lot of research and personal Bible study on my own. And there are additional Bible-related experiences I'm not even listing on here. I sat under many scholars and theologians. So, sorry Christians, this is one area you cannot say I'm inexperienced in. Now, I'd like to say to all of those out there that have had a great Christianity experience and have so much peace and all, good for you. And I really do mean that. Sincerely, that works for you. I would never try to fight someone out of something that works for them. I truly mean that. Here's the thing for me, though. It's not working for me. It, meaning Christianity in the traditional way, does not bring me peace. And that's right, I'm saying the same God you pray to, when I pray to him, I do not have peace. Sorry. Now, in the end, the thing that matters the most to me about my dependence on the law of attraction is how it will end. Not in this life, but in the next. I can understand in this God-dependent religion of Christianity why the whole law of attraction movement thing seems like a snare from Satan. Now, my instinct tells me the law of attraction thing is right for me, that it's a good thing. And yet, I can understand the concerned Christian's cry. What if, when God weighs out everything in the end and finds that you are more self-dependent than God-dependent, you will be sent to hell? Or let's add in this quote, you will have sent yourself to hell. And that's for all you preachers out there who want to get technical, who say, God doesn't send anyone to hell. We all have free will. We choose where we want to go. And of course, I would be lying to you if I told you that this thought hasn't crossed my mind, the thought of, going to hell from just doing what I thought and felt was best for me. I don't mind being somewhat dependent on someone. I'm not that prideful. I don't have a problem acknowledging that I need help from time to time, and sometimes I need a lot of it. I even think it's kind of cool to have the idea of someone you can call on at any time to help you. But when it comes to the whole eternity thing, I honestly wish that I had no need of God or religion to keep me from a life of torment. Sometimes I have felt like the only inspiration I've had to think about my Christian walk was the fear of going to hell. And while you don't have to be Dr. Phil to know that relationships primarily based on fear are generally not very good or healthy ones, I believe I love God, and I believe that I believe in him. I just don't really have peace with all the traditional Christian ways at this point in time. Now, I would like to know, does anyone else feel this way? See, I just don't believe every thought that comes from our self or quote-unquote flesh, as many Protestant, aka evangelical Christians like to say, are necessarily bad. But it comes down to this. I can believe the moon is made of cheese all I want to, but it doesn't make it true. And I say that in regards to the whole heaven or hell thing. I can think a million times times a million times that, well, maybe heaven or hell, maybe they don't exist, but that doesn't mean they don't. And no, I'm honestly not interested in getting in the whole debate about whether or not there's any proof that heaven or hell exists. I really just don't want to go there with this one. Sorry, I just really don't. But in conclusion, my beliefs are, I honestly believe that a lot of good instincts, desires, intuitions, whatever you want to call them, come from God to your quote-unquote self in a natural, casual, peaceful way, no matter what religion you are. Now, if you're a Christian or someone even, interested in the law of attraction, I would love to know your thoughts.